Time once again for That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly. That Business Show gives a voice to Tampa Bay's entrepreneurial community and highlights our community leaders, aiming to inspire and educate our listeners. Become a part of the entrepreneurial movement today by becoming a member of the Tampa Bay Business Owners and get your brand on air today. Visit TampaBayRadio.com for more information. All shows available on demand. Now, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Kelly Wilson joins the morning discussion after a 2-day hiatus. So, Kelly, good morning to you.
It wasn't a fun. Isn't hiatus? Doesn't that reference like fun and like having?
It just references an absence.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, I was sick with some type of
a stomach flu.
Yeah, something. But I'm back and better, and I feel good. And I'm so sorry to have left you solo the last couple days.
I've been doing this for a couple years. I can handle it with and without the guests and everything. Me and Gary held it down yesterday for the first hour. Had a good discussion on professional wrestling for a segment.
Yeah,
then
I'll have to listen back to that show. I'm sure I missed quite a show.
Because we didn't have a guest in the 7 o'clock hour yesterday. Our guest ended up canceling there, and so it was just me and Gary here in studio, and so we shared a good discussion on real estate in the second part of the segment yesterday. And today's hour is going to focus on real estate as well. So
yeah, it looks like we're focused on real estate today too.
It is. We've got Larry Harbolt, expert real estate investor and educator, been on the program a number of times, and is a very accomplished speaker as well in the field of real estate, using non-traditional investing techniques to help his students as well as himself, make money from real estate. A lot of people just focus on just going to the MLS and find a property and making an offer, and it's there's a lot of different ways to invest in real estate other than just the traditional, here's an offer on the property and can you bring the price down on it for me, So there's a lot of ways. We'll talk about some of those in today's segment. And also joined alongside is one of his students and real estate agent Chirstopher Nowicki, who is with Keller Williams. So let's welcome Larry and Christopher into the discussion this morning. Gentlemen, welcome.
Welcome.
So, Larry, first off, just tell us a little bit about your background in real estate, because I know that you came out of blue-collar work. You were working in, I think it was a pipe fitter or a welder, and then you found the field of real estate. Share with us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I started back in the late 70s. I was unemployed a lot as a construction worker, and I had a bunch of kids to feed, and they wanted more than one meal a day.
They wanted more than one?
Very selfish children.
Really?
But I wanted to do the real estate to generate more money. But my problem was I had no money, and I had no credit, because everything I did took every penny that my wife and I could come up with. And so I had to be creative. And I got started in real estate simply by being creative, because I had no cash. I couldn't borrow. My credit wouldn't allow it, and nobody would lend to me.
And a lot of your deals that you do, maybe all of them for that matter, focus on off-market deals, right?
Correct.
You're not going to the multiple listing service,
No.
which is where the majority
Never.
of the investors go. Tell us just, briefly speaking, the type of investing that you do.
Well, we buy a list from a list broker of non-owner occupied free and clear property. And we buy 3,000 names at a time. And that's only properties that the owner does not live in, and they are free and clear. There are thousands. Everybody wants to go after the properties that are in the MLS. I go for the ones that are not.
Right, because the MLS is just easy. It's right there in front of people.
Right.
If you give somebody an extra step to do it, it really shuts out a lot of the market, because now
Correct.
You've got to go buy a list. Oh, I can't go buy a list, so.
Well, my wife sends out letters, hand addresses the envelopes. We are a mom and pop business. She does all the work to get people to respond to us. Once they respond, she takes questions and asks the owners different questions. Then I can call them back and try to put a deal together.
And a lot of the techniques focus around some type of seller financing
Correct.
role. So when a seller owns a property free and clear, they themselves can become a bank. And so a lot of the different techniques that Larry teaches, it revolves around the seller financing. The key is finding those free and clear properties.
Right.
And so that's why you would come to someone like yourself to learn about this. Now,
Sure.
You also do a weekly meetup group on Mondays where people can come and also learn more. Tell us about this.
Well, we've been doing a meeting every Monday night for 17 years.
That's amazing. 17
And we're
years.
there even if it's a holiday. We were there in 2016, Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July. There was a meeting. Now, we never do Christmas or New Year's, or Thanksgiving if it falls on Monday.
It doesn't this year. We're on a Saturday and Sunday for both.
They're actually celebrating Monday. Monday is this actually.
Well, yeah, the corporate
as.
positions and everything.
Right.
Yeah, they got to roll that over so people get their day off.
We're there every week.
And what do you provide at the weekly meetings?
It's a networking meeting. People that have property under contract come to pitch them. There are people there looking for properties. There are people that promote their business.
So support, education.
No, there's no education other than.
You are educating them if they're asking questions.
Well, but it's just networking. It's friends getting together, having a meal at the Hibachi buffet, and trying to do deals. So I want friends to get together, do business, make money. That's the key.
Sounds like a great time.
And do you remember your first deal that you put together? Tell us, because so many people are afraid to make that first step. What inspired you to actually make that first step? Was it just that, man, I didn't have any money, I didn't have anything to lose anyways? I mean, how did you put that first deal together?
The first deal I did was when I lived in Michigan, in my little town of 800 people. The banker had a bunch of properties that they had taken back in foreclosure. And the first one I bought was a 3-unit. Well, I had no money. I had no chance of borrowing because my credit wouldn't allow, and you know the rest. But I asked them what they wanted for the property, and they wanted $60,000. And I said, "Oh, okay. How much does it need in repair?" And they said, "Well, we've got a quote from a local contractor, $8,000." I was also a licensed contractor, but okay. So the total was $68,000. He said, "Do you want this property?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'd like it, but there's just one problem. I'm just $60,000 shy of having enough to buy it." And Mr. Petty said, "That's not a problem." Oh. And I said, "Well, I'm also $8,000 shy of having enough to fix it." He said, "That's not a problem either." He said, "What we'll do is we'll sell you that property on a 10-year 10% land contract, which is where you pay the seller, pay the bank, only it was a different form. You didn't have to qualify. And they escrowed $8,000 into an account. And as I got the work done, I'd bring in receipts and pictures, and they would give me the money to pay the contractors. That was truly a nothing down deal. But I wanted to get started, and you can't do it any easier than that when you have nothing and you don't have the ability to borrow.
Now, through the years, has the techniques kind of broadened in what people can do versus maybe when you started in the 70s, it was more of a restricted environment in terms of the creativity that you could do. How has it changed when you first began investing to today?
Well, when I started, interest rates were 18 to 22%. And there was no way you can cash flow a property.
So everyone was looking for ulterior methods.
Well, the 10% land contract was a miracle compared to paying 22% on a conventional or bank loan. And so that, to me, was a way to get started. And I will tell you, the first 3 deals I did, because I had no formal training, on the way into the closing at the title company, I had to stop and throw up. I was that scared.
You're
because
that nervous, huh?
if I was successful in those deals, my family depended on that. Right. And I didn't know if I was doing the right thing or not. So I was really nervous. But once I signed the papers, it was business as usual. And then we dealt with it. But
yeah, I think that's what's so difficult in life, just in business period, with entrepreneurs and business owners. You know, everything that we do, our staff depends on it, our families depend on our success, and sometimes you don't always know what those right decisions are. So it's a matter of following, your gut instinct and just doing it.
That's all I had. That's all I had because I had no education as far as being an investor. For the first 16 years, I was in the business. I just did it by trial and terror.
Trial and terror.
And so
that's right.
It's an ugly way to learn to do the business, but that's all I had. That is why when I came to Florida 20 years ago, I met my mentors. And they taught me many, many creative techniques. Right. And so now I'm out crisscrossing the United States, speaking at real estate clubs and teaching those techniques because people need help.
No, you're right. They
And
do.
if you can't think outside of the box, per se, you're pretty limited to what you can do.
What about finding deals? Obviously, the internet may have made this easier since when you started. I mean, how did you find the deals, in the 70s and the 80s before the internet? Were these lists available back then too, or how were you sourcing
No, back
stuff?
then a friend of mine told me that in the next town over, population 450, is where this bank had the foreclosures that they'd taken back. And so I had to drive 4 miles to go over and talk to Mr. Petty, the bank president. And that started how we got into the business. And there were other banks. Some would do the deal like that, some wouldn't. But the point is, it was a way to get started. And I'd use that technique today if it was still available. But banks, nobody knows who has the note and the mortgage
It's a very
anymore.
complicated environment
Yes.
behind the scenes these
So
days.
I go directly to the seller now.
Right.
And
so
I create a deal with the seller. I pay the seller every month. And
how many deals have you put together roughly since your first deal, would you estimate?
I've been involved in over 400.
400 different deals since the first deal that you put together.
Yes.
They're incredible. Now, we got Chris Nowicki here. Go and throw the microphone over to him. He is a realtor and then also an investor. Are you fairly new in the business, or how long have you been in business now?
Yeah, pretty new to the business
Pretty new.
still.
Because you look pretty young. I've seen your name around a little bit lately. I've been in business 9 years with real estate. Tell us a little bit about your background before real estate.
Well, like Larry, I got sick of the cold of Michigan and decided to move down here.
Oh, you're from Michigan also, huh?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Larry from Michigan.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about your this past weekend, by the way.
Yeah,
There.
yeah, well, things happen, I guess. And then decided to get into real estate for the same reason a lot of other people did. As far as investing goes, you want the rental houses, you want the cash flow. So I started out like that, and fortunately, unlike Larry, we're fortunate enough now to have these mentors around us. The Tampa Bay area has got a ton of real estate knowledge. And so for people just starting out in the business, in it brand new or even just a couple of years or even
Let me ask you
experienced
this,
people.
because I don't do off-market investing. I just sell real estate for banks, and you hear from the investors, oh, there's no inventory, because they're looking in the MLS, and that's the only place they're looking for inventory. How is the off-market environment right now? The seller financing opportunities out
People
there?
are still finding deals. It all comes down to motivation. You need to find those motivated sellers, and there's always going to be motivated sellers somewhere. It's just your job to put in the effort to try and find them. I mean, there's always going to be somebody who gets a job transfer or loses a job or,
And how competitive is that market for the off-market deals? The MLS, it's very difficult because
the
it's
MLS
so
is very
easy.
competitive.
How is the market for these off-market deals? How many different people would you say are you competing with versus how many investors that are going to the multiple listing service and trying to find deals?
There's a lot more people that are coming out now. Obviously a lot of people are getting interested in real estate. They see the market going up, so they want to get involved. But if you do things differently, kind of like how Larry teaches, if you do things differently, you're not going to find a whole lot of competition, because you're going to find a lot of these people, these sort of like weekend warriors, they're going to come out and they're not going to do the things that the more educated and knowledgeable investors are going to do. And if
And
you're
they
gonna,
probably won't put the same effort into it
Exactly.
either.
Yeah, they're gonna. They're not going to do the sort of things that need to be done. So if you're doing those things that nobody else is doing, you don't have a whole lot of competition.
Yeah, what I see from a lot of real estate investors is they just go through the multiple listing service. They see the list price and they divide it by 2, and then they send you an offer for that, and they hope something eventually sticks. And I get that stuff all the time. Fortunately, it's kind of died down over the last few years, but in 2008 to 10, I got that all the time. It used to drive me crazy because as a realtor, you got to present all offers. And you're like, come on, man. But so many people are just doing the throw the dart at the wall and hope something sticks. So let's take a break here. Currently talking real estate with Larry Harbolt, real estate investor and educator, and learn more about him at larryharbolt.com. And also one of his students, Chirstopher Nowicki, who is a realtor and an investor with Keller Williams. Learn more at nowickirealestate.com. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you. Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit BillMeyerHam.com. That's BillMeyerHam.com. Have a conversation.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again. Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Couple accidents in Tampa, one on westbound Hillsborough Avenue at 275. The left and center lanes are blocked here. Also one on northbound Armenia just north of Hillsborough at Idlewild. The right lane is blocked there. Slow traffic on the interstates westbound I-4. Approaching downtown Tampa, southbound Veterans Expressway. Also slow between Van Dyke and Hutchinson. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson, Udork, Hillsborough. Traffic tip line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by SOS Children's Villages. War, poverty, and disaster have left millions of children around the world orphaned, abandoned, alone. When their parents can't be there, SOS Children's Villages is there in 134 countries, including the U.S. To make a difference in a child's life, go to sosusa.org.
Today, a mix of sun and clouds and less humid with a high 75. Tonight, mostly clear, low 56. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and pleasant with a high 78.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed the show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Talking real estate with Larry Harbolt and Chirstopher Nowicki, and learn more at LarryHarbolt.com and NowickiRealEstate.com.
Larry, you have an amazing story, and I had the pleasure of hearing you talk at one of the main events for the Tampa Bay business owners. Share us a little bit about that story when you finally decided you'd had it and you were ready for a change.
Well, I was working as a pipe fitter, and I was working at the Upjohn Company in Kalamazoo, Michigan, in their cyanide building.
That doesn't sound good.
It was 22 below zero. The building was unheated.
Oh, goodness.
I was sitting at a filthy picnic table eating my lunch. All the rest of the crew had gone out to the local bar. I stayed to eat my lunch, and I'm reading a golf magazine that I dug out of the dumpster for something to do.
I was going to say, where did the magazine come from?
And I'm reading this magazine, and I come to a page, and it was a double picture, and it was a golf course green with two men and two women in shorts putting out. And I'm sitting looking at that magazine, and I know it sounds funny, but I could feel the warmth from that warm picture on my face. And that was when I decided I'd had enough of the cold winters, working out in that cold, being miserable. My wife knew I was miserable. And I just decided I was going where it was warm. And she was with me 100%, and we packed up and came to Florida.
But like that day, right? You'd had enough. That was the moment that changed
and
everything.
She knew I'd had enough. She was smart enough to read that because I was very depressed. The cold, I just got sick of it, so I came to paradise.
Well, and repeatedly in 22-degree weather and no heat and in a cyanide building. I mean, that doesn't sound like it's leading you.
The beautiful part is when we moved here to Florida, we moved to a rental house we had in Crystal Beach, and one day we're driving, and here's a sign, Innisbrook Country Club. That's where that green was in that golf magazine that I saw.
And how amazing is that? I mean, those things just don't happen.
Apparently my plan that I knew nothing about was to be here because there's too many things that are just too pat.
Yeah, the universe had the plan for you.
Apparently, because
and just told you as you needed to know, apparently.
It couldn't have been happenstance. It had to be because too many things have fallen into place.
So, Crystal, you mentioned you had a rental property in the Crystal Beach area. Is that what it was?
Right. And we moved into it thinking we were going to move into someplace in the Palm Harbor area.
Because you weren't sure on where you wanted to be in Florida.
No, but we never did find anything, but we did find a place in South Pasadena, St. Pete Beach, and we eventually moved there.
Did you find real estate investing to be any more difficult or any more easier in Florida? Tell me a little bit about the difference.
It's different than in Michigan, because in Michigan, there is no such thing as creativity. Everybody does the same thing over and over. When I came here, my mentors taught me creativity is the only way. I mean, you can trade stuff, you can pay someone's debt, you can do about anything you can think of to put a deal together.
So we're in a good market then for investors.
But it's an excellent market everywhere in this country if you can think outside the box.
And thinking outside the box being the crux of the deals that you've put together.
Give the seller what they want, and cash is not always what they want.
And we'll talk about that when we come back from the break, because you're right, so many people think of the offer price, but there's also terms involved in the contract. And we'll talk a little bit about that.
Well, and thank you for sharing your story.
When we come back from the break, talking to, again, Larry Harbolt, real estate investor and educator. Learn more at LarryHarbolt.com. And also alongside Chirstopher Nowicki, a realtor and investor, and learn more at NowickiRealEstate.com. And also learn more about this program over at TampaBayRadio.com. And also Kelly has got the new edition of the Edge Business Magazine out on edgebusiness.org, right?
Yeah, it should be up on the website later today.
Right. Check that out. It's very nice. We'll get that out in the recap as well. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
Hi, I'm Kelly Ham from Bill Meyer Ham Consulting. Did you know that one of the biggest challenges that leaders face is getting their employees to be engaged, motivated, and producing amazing business results? At Bill Meyer Ham Consulting, we'll help you transform your workforce culture from one that might be underperforming, maybe mediocre, to achieving amazing business results. You see, we realize that your workforce culture is equally as important as your business plan and your business strategy. The two must be aligned in order for you to reach your desired business and financial goals.
Carol,
hey, Jim.
I just got this plan that could really help with our process here.
Okay, why don't you just have a seat and let's go over it.
Let us help you transform your workforce culture by leveraging your most important assets, your people. I want to know what's going on in your organization. Let us help you transform your workforce culture. Let's have a conversation.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Have problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson, Udork, Hillsborough. Traffic tip line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. Around the world, there are young people who face a difficult decision: continue their dream of education or drop out to help support their families. In a single moment, you can help them write a new story. See potential, not poverty, at unbound.org.
Here's the 1250 Winds Weather Center forecast today. A few clouds, not as humid, the high just 75. Clear skies tonight going down to 56. Tomorrow, sunny and 78. Sunday, more humid air, high around 82. Attention Hokies and Tigers. The ACC Championship is on 1250 Winds tomorrow night. Virginia Tech and Clemson. Pregame at 7, kickoff at 8. 1250 WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Missed the show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. If you're wondering how to get onto the program, please visit tbsinterview.com for more information and a lot of FAQs over there regarding the program. Today's talk is centering around real estate. We got Larry Harbolt in studio along with Chirstopher Nowicki, a real estate agent with Keller Williams, as well as an investor and a student of Larry Harbolt's teaching. Now, Chris, as we were going into that break there, Larry was mentioning, and so was I, it's not always about price. Terms also come into play inside a contract. Elaborate on this for us.
Yeah, in any transaction, there's two variables. There's price and there's terms. And that's one of the important things about being a realtor with the investor mindset, is knowing that there's more to a transaction than price, or you're haggling over terms, which for most realtors might be something like closing date or whether or not the furniture stays. There's a lot more to it that we learn from mentors like Larry Harbolt. There's payments, there's monthly payments, there's lease options, there's a bunch of different things that can go into it. And having the investor mindset opens you up a lot more to making a deal happen when other transactions might hit a gridlock, because all you're thinking of is, okay, is the price going to go up or down, or is the furniture staying, or what's the closing date?
How did you connect with Larry?
I actually met him through one of the Tampa RIA, I think. He was speaking there, and I had heard about him from some other people. And
people that aren't familiar with Tampa RIA?
I was just going to ask.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell that to the community.
Tampa RIA is a local real estate meeting monthly here in the area.
Separate than Larry's.
It's separate than Larry's. There's a lot of different meetings here.
Yeah, and there's a website for it. It's REIA is that acronym, Real Estate Investment Association or something. I'm not sure what that stands for specifically, but it is a good source for real estate investors, the Tampa REIA meetings and stuff. So jot that down if you're a
Dustin Griffin runs that meeting.
Okay.
So I'd heard about him from some other people and met up with him there, and he invited me to his Monday night meeting, and I've been going pretty much weekly ever since. And it's been a great meeting, and it's great for me who's getting into the real estate agent side of the business, because that room is filled with buyers and sellers
right,
and properties.
Now, what do you enjoy more, the real estate sales side of the business or the investor side of the business?
They're kind of one and the same when you're working with trying to buy and sell houses. I love real estate. I love
But would
people.
you rather be working for commissions or would you rather be working for profits?
There's
'Cause I know Larry has a good. Larry, go ahead and I know you have a line for this. Why work for tips when you could be working? What is that line, Larry?
Well, yeah, I don't believe most real estate agents are great salespeople. They don't probably understand the investment side of the business, most of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that is because if they knew anything about being an investor, they wouldn't work for tips. They'd work for profit checks.
Right. And I've heard Larry say that a number of times and everything. So when did you enter? Now, you came out of Michigan. What was the inspiration? Why did you come down to Florida? Tell us a little bit how. Was it just you didn't like the cold up there?
More or less. My family and I always vacation down here in Florida, and my wife has family down here.
Did you spend time in a cyanide building also?
No.
Were you in real estate up there?
No.
So
I moved originally to Illinois straight out of college, and then that was even worse than Michigan. So we had to leave there after a couple of years and decided to make our way down to Florida.
Very cool. All right, let's Elia, go ahead and jump in that seat over there. Actually, Chris, if you would switch seats with Elia so we can get him on camera. We got another one of Larry Harbolt's students here in studio with us. He's also a returning guest of the program. So I want to welcome Elia Luti into the morning discussion.
And a member of the Tampa Bay Business Owners.
And a member of the
as
Tampa
well.
Bay Business Owners and owner of Real Estate Helpful Solutions. And I've seen him put together a handful of deals, maybe more, but I know he's talked about a few of them on the program. So, Elia, welcome into the morning discussion.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me and my wife again on the.
Absolutely, and Eva Kovacs is off camera right now. She is in the business with you as well. So, first off, I want to ask, you came over from Italy, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And did you meet Larry immediately, and then get into the world of real estate investing?
We opened up our company at the end of 2011, and we made our first acquisition in 2012. We were going back and forth because of the visa requirements that we needed, so we wasted a lot of time acquiring the right paperwork. And we did not meet Larry as soon as we got here. We got involved with several other investors meetings that we found out the area is plenty of. And in the beginning, we didn't have any better approach than buy low and sell high. But luckily enough, we got involved with these investors meetings, and we found people such as Larry. Among others, Jacqueline is one of our best friend and mentor. And these guys just opened our mind to a completely different world. Again, in the beginning, we just had the strict approach of buy low and sell high. And
that's how all investors come into real estate. They're just going to lowball something and hope
and it's a very
sticks.
limited vision, not only for themselves, but for the sellers as well. So once that we understood, as Chris was saying earlier, that it's not only about the price, but it's about the terms, we got much more flexible in the way we are approaching real estate for ourselves, for our own priorities, and benefiting also the sellers. Because the way we approach real estate right now is not only on the profit of a sale. I mean, we would buy property for cash. We do buy property on cash, and we resell them. We wholesale the deal. But what our main focus is on cash flow. So we buy property to hold on to them and rent them out.
Who can you help? Say somebody's in a distressed situation. There's also situations where the seller then can become the bank or retain ownership, and then you make the payments. I know there's a lot of different techniques out there, but maybe they have like an IRS lien against the home. Those are the types of people, because a lot of people out there are like, well, why would they not put the home on the market? Why would they not want to use the MLS and expose their home to a broad base of buyers? But some sellers are in distressed situations, and that's where people such as yourselves come in and help out.
The way we see it is that knowledge and experience makes all the difference. And even though we're young and we started about 5 years ago, we're gaining the knowledge and we have the experience, because we can rely on people such as Larry that we can call friends. I mean, they're one call away from us. So if we need their help or their wisdom to put together a deal, they can help us out, and they do help us out. So we can help people in any kind of situation. We bought houses for cash because they had credit cards debt. We bought houses on terms because they own more than what the house was worth, and we took it over to a lease option. In those kind of scenario, people can only sell their property and lose money. So normally when you sell a house, you want to end up with some money in your pocket. Well, if you sell it when your mortgage is higher than the value of your property, you end up bringing cash at the table, of the closing table. So in those kind of scenario, we were able to let the seller leave with some money in their pocket just because we were able to benefit from the situation by handling with more knowledge and experience that they would have.
Where are some good areas in Tampa right now for investors? If somebody asks me that question, I'm going to say, well, Seminole Heights area, Tampa Heights area is a really good area for renovation projects. What are you seeing out there in your market?
Personally, for the priorities we have, for what our focus is, we mainly work on Pinellas County, Pasco, and we did stretch out to Hillsborough, but right now we're finding a lot of our deals in Pasco.
Okay, so off-market
Always
deals.
Off-market.
Yeah, I mean,
again,
but your markets are in Pinellas and Pasco right now,
yes,
where the
mainly.
opportunities are.
And flexibility allow us to focus in, everybody has different priorities again. Larry likes free and clear. We like people that might be over leveraged. Somebody, makes mistakes or life happens. We like to help these people. That's
okay,
why
so your market doesn't necessarily attract somebody who owns the home free and clear. You said over leveraged, which means they have a mortgage or they have some type of encumbrance against the property. Elaborate a little bit more on that then, because somebody's thinking, well, I'm upside down. I can't sell this home. I owe $100,000 more than it's worth, and I got an IRS lien, and nobody can help me. Would you be a resource for them?
We scenarios. Right. That's why we try to voice what we do out, because we believe there is a very misconception about investors. Many people believe that investors are only out there to take advantage of people, or they're after their own profit. Of course, we're after our own profit. We need to make a living as well, but we can do that.
But you're looking to create win-win scenarios.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, we want to provide a service. Now, our main focus when we rent out a property is on seasonal rental right now. And
seasonal? Is that
seasonal rent, right? And we see that, I'm getting back to one of the questions you asked me last time we were on the show in February. You asked me what I think about that market. We entered in that market like 2 years ago. And by the time we enter in the market as of today, there are a bunch of more listings. So one thing is, well, it's getting crowded, there is too much competition. Too much competition is good for you, for the users, for the guest. More competition forces the service provider, the host, to provide a better service. So it's just benefiting everybody involved in whatever we're doing. And this is the mentality that we approach. Every obstacle is just an excuse, an occasion for us to get better and to provide better services to whoever get in touch with us, either a seller or a renter. So this is how we approach whatever we do. And we believe we are able to create win-win situation just for our mentality, our mindset, the knowledge we're gaining.
How have you seen the market shift over the last year? I mean, values are coming up, so people are starting to get out of their distressed situations. But, what are you seeing out there in the markets?
Yeah, prices are going up. And back to one of the questions you asked, Chris, if you see people out, if it's easier to find people motivated to sell even though the property is not listed. Market is changing. Prices are going up. I don't know how long it's going to last. But the vision of the market going up in prices makes people believe that everything is going to be okay and everybody can sell for top dollars anytime they want to. So it takes some more time to find motivated sellers because people maybe don't really realize how the economy really is. And I believe there is something to say about that. But again, prices are going up. That's a fact. It's up to how you want to interpret why they're going up.
Mm-hmm.
And what that ultimately leads to.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
To kind of give us
so
some
we hope that
inclination.
everything is going to be okay, but we believe there are many people that are not realizing that they cannot sell their house for top dollars anytime they want to. And they're not motivated right now because this is what they believe they can do, even if that is not the case.
Right.
Well, we got 3 real estate investors here in studio today that can help you, whether you're free and clear or in a distressed situation. Again, Elia Luti, who is just on the microphone. If you want to try his services, you can pick up a phone and give him a call at 727-366-6916. Again, 727-366-6916, or visit realestatehelpfulsolutions.com. Also, you can pick up Chris at 813-295-9167. Again, 813-295-9167, or visit NowickiRealEstate.com. And, of course, the expert Larry Harbolt at 727-420-4810, or visit LarryHarbolt.com. Stay tuned. We got one more segment on this discussion on real estate on That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit billmeyerham.com. That's billmeyerham.com. Have a conversation.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
From the Spectrum Traffic Center.
Traffic on the interstates in Tampa looking a whole lot better. Still seeing some minor delays on westbound I-4 approaching downtown Tampa and, of course, off the Howard Franklin Bridge. That crash on westbound Hillsborough Avenue at 275, still in the left-hand lane, but it is in the clearing stages. Also, that crash on northbound US 19 at Nebraska, now off to the right-hand side. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uterick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Someone you know is suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they won't be able to get out of bed. Help someone you know and support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America at ccfa.org.
Today, a mix of sun and clouds and less humid with a high 75. Tonight, mostly clear, low 56. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and pleasant with a high 78.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed the show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here are your hosts, Jamie and Kelly.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Talking about real estate here. And we got Larry Harbolt, Elia Luti, and Chirstopher Nowicki talking about non-traditional real estate investing techniques. And learn more at, again, LarryHarbolt.com and RealEstateHelpfulSolutions.com, and also at NowickiRealEstate.com. So, Larry, let's give the listeners something specific about what it means to do a creative deal.
Well, I was saying on break that I just spoke at a club in Washington, D.C., and they asked me, what is a creative deal? Because I talk about creating deals, that are non-conventional. And so I explained a deal that is somewhat complicated to a beginner, but if you have a seller that says, let's say they want $100,000 for their house, if you put 50% down, they'll take payments on the other 50%. Well, the problem, if you have no money, no ability to borrow money, no credit, how do you do that deal? And so I explained, well, what you can do is instead of giving them one note and mortgage for $100,000, write two notes, one for $50,000, a second one for $50,000. That way, the seller can sell the first note at the closing table to a note buyer to get the cash they need. And that way now you pay the note buyer every month on that note. You pay the seller every month on that other note.
And then the idea then is you've taken ownership of the property at that point. You could then sell it if that case may be,
right.
or you can rent it and cash flow, just depending on the situation. And for people that aren't familiar with the note buyer market, how broad is that market out there?
It's huge. There are thousands of people that buy and sell notes. A note is a promise to pay, and a mortgage secures the promise to pay. So those notes, some are defaulted. There are people that buy defaulted paper where people have quit paying. They don't want the property necessarily. They'll buy the note, and then they either continue the foreclosure or...
So you've given the seller what they want in that situation. You've given them their 50%
with nothing out of my
with
pocket.
Nothing out of your pocket by using a note buyer. So essentially you've employed two different banks in this situation, the seller being one of those banks and then the note buyer being the second bank, but they're not traditional banks. They're the general public.
Right, but let me make a correction. The seller is not a bank. They are not lending you money. See, when you go to a bank, you get a loan. They give you a handful of cash, let's say, to go buy something. A seller doesn't have any cash.
Right.
They have equity. So the seller is allowing you to buy their equity in monthly installments. They are not making a loan to you. So all the sellers seem to think they're a bank, and they're not. They don't have money. They have equity.
So when you say bank, it's kind of confusing because
Yeah.
it's not a bank at all. It's
No.
So and the note buyers. So where do you find those people like that? They'll buy notes and they need to get with you, and you'll.
There are
help them
websites out there. The Note Source. There's different ones where there are hundreds and hundreds of people across this country that deal in notes, in paper, what they call paper.
Yeah, we talked with Roger Salam just a few weeks ago. That his whole model centers around purchasing notes, and so if people need resources for notes, I know of a couple of people in the Tampa Bay area who does that too. But you're right; it's a very broad market out there. But it's one of those things because it's non-traditional, it's
Right.
complicated. It's I can't do that. I got to leave that up to the experts.
Right.
How long does it take to break down that barrier in a traditional student when you start telling them techniques like that, and they're like, I don't know.
Well, that whole audience in D.C. had that stunned look on their face when I explained that. It went right over their head, but
it really makes sense. It's not
it does
really hard,
make sense,
but it's so not traditional or taught that it seems scary at the beginning.
Well, it does, but once you understand it, it's not scary at all. It's a way to put $50,000 down without taking 1 cent out of your pocket.
And if it's a way to be successful and ultimately create the outcome that everybody wants, then.
Well, what's the difference
So
if
be
you
it.
make one payment to the note holder and one to the seller? It's still the same amount.
Right.
What's the difference?
So how many different techniques such as that? I'm going to ask you to give away your entire, jackpot of, ways of doing this. But, how many different techniques out there that you can teach students on like that?
Well, I love to do laminated sheets. My laminated sheets are cliff notes. They're just the bottom line, different things about real estate. So it's for a quick study. And when you need a quick answer, I just created a sheet that has 20 different ways to make an offer on a property. And now I'm working on the second 20. And when that's done, I'll work on a third. There's unlimited ways you can make an offer to a seller. So it's not just one way, cash. And if they say no, you give them more cash. And if they say no, you walk away. There are many, many, many ways to make offers on property.
Yeah, no, there's your website, and I see you got a lot of different products, LarryHarbolt.com.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then they can come and see you and meet you personally on Mondays.
Of course.
And where are you at on Mondays?
It's at 7610 49th Street North, Pinellas Park, at the Hibachi Buffet.
Hibachi Buffet.
And they have excellent food, great place to meet, great people. We're a big family.
And what time are you there?
7 o'clock every Monday.
Every Monday.
So what advice would you give then for listeners out there that are just afraid to pull that trigger on that first real estate deal? But because so many people want to do it, but what would you say to them?
Well, they need to talk to someone that can, walk them off the ledge because they're scared. I understand that. Been there. But if they want to come to my meeting, it doesn't cost them anything but the price of a meal. But if they want to just ask questions, or they can call me, I'll try to explain some different things to help them off the ledge because I understand what they're going through.
I love that you have the passion to help, and that it means so a part of your purpose. I feel I believe, and I know you do believe, is helping others and mentoring others, like the individuals in the office or in the studio today. So thank you.
One of the things, if it hadn't been for my mentors helping me, I wouldn't be where I am today. And now it's my turn
to give back.
I
love that. Thank you.
A good discussion and another great person here in Tampa giving back to the community. So Larry Harbolt, thank you so much for being in the studio.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And again, his phone number is 727-420-4810, 727-420-4810, or visit larryharbolt.com. Also, thank you to Elia Luti. Learn more at realestatehelpfulsolutions.com, and Chirstopher Nowicki at nowickirealestate.com, and more about this program at tampabayradio.com. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back in here Monday morning on That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
The proceeding